Hello, beautiful being, and welcome back to the Monday Messages. I had to take a quick few-week break while I was transitioning into my new home. So welcome to my new apartment. I'm super excited about it. It's something that I have been manifesting for a while now, and I'm just really excited to finally be in the manifestation and experience it to its fullest. So thanks for your patience as I transition. This week on the Monday Messages, we are talking about being an empath, being a sensitive person, being someone who feels energy, and how do you move through that with grace and ease when there are other people out in the universe, other people out in the world, other situations that are out of your control, and sometimes people who are out of control, and how do you regulate your own energetic body in those situations and in life? So that's what we're going to talk about. This question came from a good friend of mine, Hannah, and it kind of sparked from a story that I did talking about regulating my energy levels with also holding space for these online women's circles, the manifestation circles that are running weekly now. We meet twice a week, and we're doing this for 8 weeks long. So I'll be facilitating every Sunday. And then, I was just talking about how I needed to be mindful of the fact that I am working, I am holding space, I am giving out energy on Sundays, and then accounting for that with slower Monday mornings. And so this topic came up from Hannah, where she was basically wondering, as an empath or someone who has a very open, energetic body, how do you do that? How do you manage that? So I just wanted to dive a little bit deeper into some things that I have done in my own spiritual journey to be more mindful and more, really more in control of my energy, have more management over my energy levels and who gets in, who influences my energy, what influences my energy, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. I have 6 points to talk about. The first point is your environment. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So look around at your environment. Are they also empaths? Are they also sensitive people? Are they also people who are aware of energy and healing and mindfulness and consciousness and whatever it is that you're into? Healing stones, rocks, like Reiki, doesn't matter. Are they people that are into those things, or are they people who are not? It's totally fine if they're not. We all start somewhere, right? But your next steps are going to be to build a community around you who are supportive and uplifting and empowering along your journey, and that includes people who are aware and awake enough to be mindful of your needs as an empath and your just your situation in general. That also includes the space that you live in. My intention with this space was not to put a ton of stuff on the walls, at least yet. I wanted it to be very open and clean and just easy, right? Like I wanted my space, the space around me, to kind of simulate how I want to feel every single day, all day, right? I'm essentially creating my woman cave for social isolation during coronavirus, but also just in general. Like, this is my home, and your environment, your home, is an extremely important place. Even if you share a house or a room with somebody, like, how can you create an altar? How can you create a ritual or routine where you are going outside on a regular basis for that to be your environment, and for that to be the vibration in which you start and end your day? Like, how can you create intentional rituals around the need for a connection with nature, really, is what it is. If you're an empath, like, you should be in nature as much as possible. I don't even need to explain myself. Like, just go do it and you'll see. It'll be amazing. So conscious pollution. And I also wanted to mention that a lot of these points I got from a YouTube video that I will link below. There were a lot of things that I think she made some really good points on, and some things that I think were not as accurate from my own experience. Granted, her experience is different. So you can watch her video if you're interested in that to getting a little bit different perspective on the same topic. But one thing she talks about is conscious pollution. And I totally see what she's talking about with that, like shows, music, books that you're reading. Like if you're reading like spicy romance novels that end in heartbreak every time, like, and you're noticing that same pattern in your relationships, it's time to maybe stop doing that. I know that, for example, I have to stop watching Scandal. Like I want to watch Scandal so bad because I love Kerry Washington so much, but I realize that when I watch Scandal that I end up having all of these crazy ideas that like people are gossiping about me, or that like someone's, like I am polluting my own mind and vibration with things that are just so unnecessary, with drama that's so unnecessary. So same with music. I used to listen to rap music when I drove, and now I cannot do that because it just makes me drive so much more aggressively, and like I can just feel it throughout my whole energy body. It makes me a little bit stressed out. So make sure the music that you listen to is calming. Make sure that the shows that you watch, maybe they're nature shows or something. I have this rule that I need to reenact, which is I don't watch anything on Netflix unless it's educational. That's the rule. So moving on to number 3. So far we've covered your environment. So far we've covered conscious pollution. And now I'm going to talk about violating energy nearby, meaning like there's actually somebody who you feel is violating your energy, whether they are aware of it or not. And the thing that I can't even remember her name. This is the first time I've seen her on YouTube, but I really appreciated some of her points. One of the things that she talks about is like she actually like zips up her chakras. And we won't go into what chakras are. If you want to know more about that, definitely do a quick Google search. It's CHAKRA, chakras, KRAS. Yeah, chakras. They're your energy centers, and they basically control like the release of hormones and all sorts of crazy things that happen in your body automatically without you being aware of it. So she basically like zips up her chakras. You can sew them. I actually kind of create a bubble around myself. And this is my love bubble. But the point is here, do some sort of physical movement that signifies to you, that means something to you specifically, and you alone, that means something to you, that is tying up or stitching up your energy. So maybe that's a love bubble like I do. Maybe it's zipping up, like closing up. Maybe you're just closing doors. So if you're entering a room and you notice a lot of crazy energy in there, a lot of violating energy in there, or maybe you're about to go visit your parents or something, or your sister or someone else in your life who has like crazy, I don't want to say crazy, energy that just can be draining or violating to you, then you can close your doors. You can close the doors to your energy. And just by doing that and saying like, I am protecting my energy right now. The only thing that I will experience from here on out for the rest of the day is love. I will love others. And if whatever I perceive in others is going to be love, it's all going to be love. That's all it is. I'm zipping up my energy. Here we go. So that's one thing you can do, and like physically moving your body to do that is very powerful in and of itself. Your food. So yes, it matters and would be awesome if you could eat fresh, local, organic, whole, plant-based food all the time. That would be amazing. And you and me and we all could probably save the world in the process. Until that happens, until it gets to the point where everybody realizes the value of that, what I would recommend is that regardless of what you're eating, because as an empath, what you're eating does impact you. It does. It does. It does. So if you're eating a lot of sugar, if you're eating a lot of animal products, if you're eating a lot of just things that aren't good for your body's natural constitution, speaking Ayurvedically here, then, you know, if you're eating those things, if you're eating those things and you're at a point in your life where you're still eating those things, regardless of what you eat, what is most important is that you take the time to acknowledge the time, the energy, the resources, the love, the lives that went into you being able to eat what's on your plate. So what I mean to say here is that it's less about what is actually on your plate and more about the awareness and energy and respect and love that you put into your food. And so that's why I always bless my food. I was taught to do that from a very early age because I grew up in a Southern Baptist family, and we would go around and say a Bible verse each. You don't have to be that intense about it. You know, I basically just put my hands over my food and I say, God, angels, universe, ancestors, everybody up there that's doing great things for me. Thank you for this wonderful meal, for this beautiful, fresh, local, organic, plant-based meal. Thank you so much for the lives, for the energy, for the love that went into making this meal possible for me. I am so grateful that I get to eat this meal and that these nutrients, these minerals, these vitamins, all the good shit in this food is going to become me, and it's going to make me a more powerful, more aligned, more focused, more impactful, more abundant version of myself. I am a powerful manifester, and this food is making that possible. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Can you imagine if that's how we all blessed our food? I think the issue with I will pretty much never tell anyone like you should definitely be a vegan or you should definitely eat paleo or you should definitely go on this diet or whatever like that, because everybody's everybody's diets and needs are so unique, right? There's no one size fits all. But regardless, let's say you are a meat eater. I think the issue there is that there's a huge disconnect between the energy and the literally the energy that was that animal becoming part of you. Like along that whole chain of events that happens, you know, we're very disassociated from the death of that animal. We're very disassociated from the processing of that animal. And I think that disassociation is the issue, not necessarily the fact that we're eating an animal. I do believe that that is part of the natural food chain and that we are meant to eat animals. I do not believe that we are meant to eat animals in the way that we are eating animals. And so therefore I do not eat a lot of animals. And when I do, I bless them and I thank them for their contribution on earth and the fact that they are going to become part of me. And in doing so, I'm honoring and inviting in a level of connection, that of that oneness. And in doing that with my food as an empath, I am now more empowered and more aware of like the life force flowing within me because of the meal that I ate that day and the power that I hold within me. Like I hold the power of a bison within me. I hold the power of a chicken within me. Not so compelling with a chicken, but anyways, you get my point. Okay. The fifth thing that you should think about, and there's only 6 things, so bear with me. The fifth thing that you should think about is fear-based anything. Fear-based anything. Fear-based news, fear-based religion, fear-based gossiping, fear-based anything. Don't do it. Don't engage in it. Get away from it. Don't focus on it. It's not that you need to ignore fear. It's not that fear is bad. It's not that fear is something that we don't want in our lives. Like if you're not experiencing some level of fear naturally, then you might this actually just came to me. If you're not experiencing a level of fear naturally just by engaging in personal growth, right? Like that process in and of itself is fear inducing. If you're not feeling that on a regular basis, it means you're not growing. And it means you're probably going to go looking for fear in other places, like on the news or with conversations with friends or whatever. So if you are an empath, you will experience fear, you will experience anxiety and stress and all the things. That's the full spectrum of being a human, right? And it's a beautiful spectrum, right? We get to experience the whole rainbow of color of emotions. And when you experience that fear, when you experience that emotion that is like a low vibe emotion or whatever, you can acknowledge it for what it is. This fear served me at some point in my life, keeping me safe, keeping me in line, keeping me a part of the pack. And now that I want to grow and evolve and manifest with grace and ease, like that fear no longer serves me. So I can observe that that's what it is. I can observe that that's how it served me. And I can observe when it comes up again that all I have to do is release it. So fear is a natural part of life, but as an empath, you should really be avoiding fear-based media and music and all that stuff if you are wanting to get better at and stronger at protecting your energy. Lastly, the last thing that you should be thinking about is to, and this is actually something that is kind of the opposite of maybe a lot of the things that people think that I'm going to recommend, but practice opening yourself. I know we're talking about protecting your energy and closing your energy, right? But that is not why you are here on earth. You are here on earth as an empath, which means that you are a highly sensitive person. You are somebody who can feel energy from others. You are somebody who can hold space for others. You are somebody that can help others heal just by holding space for them. And you have an incredible gift to give. And this whole world is not about protecting yourself. If you go around the world protecting yourself, you're missing out on the joy of being who you really are and letting your gift be of service to the highest good, right? So you do need to be aware of your own energy and know that, okay, if I'm holding space for a group on Sunday, then I need to take Monday morning off for myself and be slow and gentle and graceful as I refuel my own cup. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't practice opening. So on that Sunday, when you're showing up to that women's circle that you joined, that's mine, next round starts in June, see you there. When you show up for that women's circle, practice opening your heart, practice feeling all of the emotions that come up and really empathizing with what other people are feeling and noticing that that's also not yours, right? You can also say, that's not my emotion, but I am here for that person and I am holding space for that person without taking on their energy. And that practice is really important. It's even more important than practicing closing, right? Because if you can practice opening your energy and really feeling what that feels like, then you will feel the need to close less and less and less and less, because you will start to look at the world through the lens of loving awareness. And what I mean by that is through the lens of love. And when you can show up in the lens and in the perspective and in the embodiment of love, then no one can penetrate your energy. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. So maybe let someone vent to you this week and don't take on their energy. Don't take on their emotions. Just sit there in that seat of love. Be curious. Ask them questions. Maybe see how they can ask them questions about how they can see that problem differently or that situation differently, or show up differently or take a different action to avoid that next time. Just love on them. Just love on them and see what happens. Okay, that's all I got for you. This is a long one. I apologize. Sorry, not sorry. I love over serving you guys. I do. I really do.